Have you ever read something and a few hours later you can't remember what you just read? I have some tips for you. There are so many reasons that we all choose to read a book, and each book can have its own purpose or goal, but in the end, I think that we're all trying to remember what we've just read. So everyone recommends continuing to read and gain knowledge and ideas throughout your lifetime by reading books. But if you can't remember what you've just read, what's the point? If you have ever read something and a few hours later you can't remember what you just read, then you are in the right spot. Let's get into some tips to help you memorize what you've read. Now, these are general tips that will help you remember more of what you're reading. Of course, this is going to be especially important if you are testing on the material you've just read, but it still does apply to fiction and fun reads. It never hurts to be able to retain more of what you've just read. So let's start with the first tip. The first tip is going to be to annotate. Now, there are so many different ways to annotate, and really it's going to depend on what you're reading and why you want to memorize it. So, for example, if you are annotating a textbook, you're likely going to be highlighting and annotating vocabulary words or information you know that you're going to be tested on. If this is for a fun and fictional read, you can highlight what pleases you. You can highlight quotes that you loved, character development, major plot points, anything that makes you connect more with the writing. Annotating is going to help you connect with the writing and absorb more of that material. If you are interested in annotating, I will have a video coming soon, so be sure to check back for that. Tip number 2 is to pause and reflect after each and every chapter. So this applies for fictional reads and for nonfiction reads. At the end of your chapter, grab a notebook and a pen, or what I like to do is just use a sticky note and a pen and write what has just happened, a short summary from that chapter. So if it's a fictional read, what characters were introduced? What major plot points happened? What do you predict is going to happen? If it's a nonfiction read, what was the major information you gained from this? What new words did you learn in this? What knowledge did you gain? Tip number 3 is to find material in the format that works best for you. So if you are a visual person, an audiobook is probably not the best option for you. You're not going to connect with the material, which means you're not going to retain it. So identify what format does work for you. There are so many options available. We've got printed books, audiobooks, ebooks, probably some others I'm not thinking of. Find what works best for you and use that. And please remember that what works best for you might not be what works best for the people around you, and that is okay. Tip number 4 is to minimize distractions. If you are wanting to remember what you're reading, it deserves your undivided attention. I know that's not always possible, but try and minimize what you can. It might be beneficial for you to turn off your TV, your radio, put your phone on silent for 30 minutes, find a nice and quiet spot to read. By doing this, you're allowing yourself to really get into that material undisturbed, without distractions, and I can guarantee that you will notice a difference in what you are able to remember. Tip number 5 is to get creative. If you are a person who loves lists, write your thoughts. Use bullet points, write paragraphs if that is what helps you connect with the material and helps you to remember. If you are a creative and visual person, make it fun. Create a map at the end of each chapter or at the end of the book to highlight your thoughts. If you want to make it colorful, make it colorful. The most important thing is that you find a way that makes this fun for you. The more fun that you have with this, the more likely it is that you're going to retain what you've read. I use all of these tips and they have really helped me to increase the amount of things that I remember from the books that I am reading. So I really hope that you will give these these tips a try. And at the very least, at least try one of these and see if it improves what you can remember from the books that you're reading. Give me some feedback down below. Let me know if these tips worked for you. And if not, share some tips that do work for you. We are all here to try and increase what we can remember from the books that we're reading. So please let me know what's working for you. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Hey guys, Kaylee's Book Club here.